think we good. I think we good. I think we good. Let's get this thing started right, y'all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Y'all already know what time it is. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. Thank y'all for tuning and tapping in, man, each and every Thursday, each and every Sunday. You already know how we do it. We here every 10:30. You know, we started a little late tonight, but you know, it is what it is. But we still gonna have a great time. We still gonna show up and show out and holding it down, man. But again, I want to appreciate y'all for tapping in as always. Y'all, this is episode 189. I said 188. I meant to say 189. This is episode 189. I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. The word button, hyphenated sign, the word snaps.com, the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Also, I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping into my new EP called Winners Loyalty on all music platforms. If you haven't, make sure y'all go and support and again show that love. Type in Ashley Lovechild on all music platforms. 6 songs of fire for my true hip hop fans. So make sure y'all tap into that new EP again, Winners Loyalty. Also, we on the road to 20,000 subscribers, y'all. We a little over 11,000 subscribers. So continue to like, subscribe, share, hit that all notification bell. I do pop up throughout the week, so you just never know what I'm going to do. So also, there's memberships in the page. Different memberships do get granted different access. As you can see, we got badge holders in the building. So again, thank y'all for supporting the show each and every episode. Continues to grow, continues to grow. So again, I want to thank y'all for that. Yo, shout out real quick to the chat. The chat is already in the building, holding it down. I'm gonna shout out a few of y'all. I'm sure shout out a few of y'all. We got badge holders and we got day ones already in the building. So shout out to Winter in the building. Shout out to Hazel in the building. Shout out to King P in the building. Culture in the building. Ebony in the building. Tremont in the building. Shout out to Donald in the building. Shout out to Vic in the building and Patrick Torres. Shout out to you already in the building. Again, y'all, appreciate y'all tapping in. And them badge holders. We got them badge holders in the building. You already know how we do it with them badge holders. So again, thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. And yo, let's get the party started. Let's have some fun tonight. I'm in an amazing mood. And you know what I'm saying? It's about that time. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it. All right, y'all. Y'all already know. First segment of the night, Popular Opinions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records, where the label motto is create, document, and inspire. Make sure you go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. As you can see, some of the merchandise right here. So make sure y'all tune and tap in. And there's also links to the fourthwall.com store. So make sure y'all tap in. 10% on all products in the 10th wall. I'm sorry, fourthwall.com. So make sure y'all tap in. If you use the promotional code BrothersPod, you'll get 10% off on all merchandise. So make sure y'all tap in. Shout out to Paul in the building. Hey, good night. Paul is in the building. One of our other day ones in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Patrick Torres, Michael Parsons, big trade. I'm definitely going to be talking about that tonight because that was crazy. That was crazy. I'm not surprised, but that was crazy. And like I said, I'm going to talk about it some more a little later on. And you know how we do it over here. We definitely going to get into that because that's a trade that's going to shape this year in the NFL in itself. So, yo, that trade was crazy. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to save that. And we definitely going to tune and tap into that. All right, y'all, first segment of the night. Again, popular opinions. And remember, y'all, these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the question. Remember, y'all, stay engaged It's even more fun when you stay engaged. So make sure y'all type in your answers. First question of the night, y'all. Time capsule. Time capsule. Which movie would you love to see in movie theaters? Again, it's a time capsule question. Which movie would you love to see in the movie theaters? Number one, Jurassic Park. Number two, Harlem Nights. Number three, Terminator 2. Number four, Boys in the Hood. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Remember, it's a time capsule question. So if you could go back to that time period when that movie came out, which one of these movies you would have loved to have been in a movie theater to see. So again, let me know what y'all think. Again, number one was Jurassic Park. Number two was Harlem Nights. Number three was Terminator 2. Number four was Boys in the Hood. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. I'm seeing Jurassic Park already. Okay, okay. Me personally, and because all these movies are fire. All these movies are fire. I'm seeing Terminator in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of Jurassic Park, though. I'm not even gonna lie. All these movies are bona fide fire. These are all classics, right? Me personally, because the chat, y'all going with Jurassic Park. And a part of me want to see Jurassic Park when it first came out in the movie theaters with all that going on. But me, I like to get my chuckle on, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go with Harlem Nights. I would have loved to hear everybody else in the crowd laughing at what I'm laughing at Harlem Nights. Like, to me, Harlem Nights is such a classic. And the funniest thing is, when it came out, Eddie Murphy didn't like the movie. He thought he didn't get the best of Richard Pryor. He didn't, it was something that the energy was weird when they put the movie out. And then when you watch it, like, yo, this is flawless. Like, what are you talking about? So me personally, I would have loved to have been in the movie theater hearing other people cracking up, chuckle, laughing at, the scene with Eddie Murphy and Della Reese getting it popping in the alleyway and detective, now he wasn't even the detective, it was the guy Vento, where he was getting finessed by Sunshine. Like, I would have loved to have been there and watching those scenes, especially with Arsenio Hall and his two goons with Miguel Nunez, and they, trying to air out Eddie Murphy. So that scene was just too fire. So me personally, I'm choosing Harlem Nights. In the chat, I'm seeing Terminator and I'm seeing Jurassic Park. So I'm seeing a mix of both. I'm also seeing Boys in the Hood. But my true pick would have been Scarface, but I actually saw Jurassic Park in theaters and Harlem Nights. Okay, so I'm jealous of you that you saw Harlem Nights in theaters. I know I seen it on VHS. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? I saw it on VHS, but I'm jealous that you seen that on in the movie theaters though. All right, y'all. So again, I went with Harlem Nights. The chat, it was like a mix between Jurassic Park and Terminator 2. The rest of the world at 41% and over 53,000 people voted on this went with Terminator 2. Shout out to Patrick. He said, I'm old, bro. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing wrong with being a veteran in the game. You know what I'm saying? You gotta switch that up. You ain't old. You just a vet. You know what I'm saying? The vets. You see what I'm saying? Come off the bench, little 10-piece, 10 and 10, you know what I'm saying? Do what you do. You know what I'm saying? Vet. You know what I'm saying? Teaching people how to be professional. You know what I'm saying? So, come on, man. That's a vet. You a vet, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's all good, brother. Yeah, so, again, in the chat, went with, again, Harlem Nights and Terminator 2. Again, I went with Harlem Nights. And like I said, the rest of the world went with Terminator 2 at 41%. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Favorite artists overall on this list. Favorite artists overall on this list. Okay, that include live performances, music catalog, music videos, the whole nine, right? All right, so number one, Rihanna. Number two, Mariah Carey. Number three, Beyonce. Number four, Whitney Houston. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Your favorite artist overall. Shout out to Donald. Them in the safe. Take a little break. Yo, the safe scene in Harlem Nights. You know what I'm saying? He like, yo, He's take little breaths, and as soon as they close the door, he like, yeah, that scene is classic. That scene is like, that's what I'm saying. Harlem Nights is such a classic, bro. You know what I'm saying? In the chat, I'm seeing Whitney Houston so far. I'm seeing Whitney Houston, favorite artist overall on this list. Me personally, I'm gonna have to go with Beyonce. Me personally, like overall, and mind you, it's not who's the best, it's who's your favorite, right? Like, cause if I say who had the best vocals, I'll say Whitney, right? If I say who had the best music, I'll say Beyonce. If I'm saying overall, Beyonce got stage presence, Beyonce got great vocals, Beyonce got concepts, she got signature albums. So me personally, I'm going with Beyonce on this. But all these artists are great. All these artists are great. But I'm saying Whitney Houston mainly in the chat. Over 80,000 people voted on this. I went with Beyonce. The chat went with Whitney Houston. The rest of the world at 39% went with Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston. So y'all was right on that in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Whitney Houston was so dope. Her vocals were so phenomenal that still to this day, vocally, outside of like, you know, the ladies that came before her, you know, like your Aretha Franklins and your Gladys Knights, your Tina Turners, these women are vocal monsters. You know what I'm saying? She's among the greats. She's in that conversation of just vocal monsters. So shout out to Whitney Houston. Rest in peace to her. But 39% voted her, their favorite artist on this list. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Hollywood Need to Ask Us. I came up with this segment because Hollywood be just giving us trash ass movies. No concepts, no great ideas, no, you know what I'm saying, no real interest outside of July and outside the movie cinemas. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, this year been kind of basic, you know what I mean? But I feel like I got better ideas for movies or movie series. So my Hollywood Need to Ask Us. I would love to see a movie based on the rise of online dating and the origins of online dating. They can make it this. They can make this even across genre, but I remember when people like started to use online and chat as like a real dating thing. Like, you know, I'm kind of old school. I like to, you know, meet my women close up personal. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole social media thing, that's cool, but like sometimes social media, you don't know if people really rock with you for you or they just rock with you because of what they see and, you know, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, I like to get a feel. You know what I'm saying? See where the mind's at up close and personal. I'm just so used to that. But I would love to see a movie based on the rise of it because most people really date through online dating. And that's like the go-to. That's not even like I, you know, when I go out, most people don't even speak to people up close and personal. You know what I'm saying? And when they do, it's like, yo, what's your Instagram? And it's like, yo, wouldn't it be easier just to talk to her right here? Like, you know what I'm saying? I could get to a better understanding in the sense of who somebody is quicker. But I would love to see a movie based on the rise of online dating, me personally. Shout out to Vic, Better TV Dad, Winslow, Dr. Huxtable, Uncle Phil, or Sanford. I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna answer that after that. I'm gonna answer that after this. I should say. I'm gonna answer that after this. I got you, Vic. But yeah, I would love to see a movie based on online dating, the rise of online dating, the origins on how it started, and the pitfalls. Because people used to go use online dating and have these fake profiles, and people still do. But they used to have a complete different profile. They would have like a pretty girl up or a muscular guy, and if you go see them, it could be a dude, it could be a real a woman that you have no interest in physically. So online dating used to be way more sketchy than what it is. You could kind of filter out what is real and what is fake. So I would love to see the origins of that, and I would have Robert Townsend, the great Robert Townsend, to direct this film. I think it will be great with his touch on there. Pause. So I would love to see that movie being made. Again, a movie based on the rise of online dating, the origins, and what it is today. So it will be a movie that would take precedent from the 90s all the way to the 2025. So I think that would be absolute fire. Moving on. Going back to Vic, better TV dad. Went Mr. Winslow, Dr. Huxtable, Uncle Phil, or Sanford. Uh, better TV dad, like in a real life situation, I'ma say Uncle Phil. Cause Uncle Phil got the money on, and you could kind of finesse Uncle Phil to, you know what I'm saying, to do some fun stuff. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Huxtable he ain't going for nothing. Like he too on it. You see what I'm saying? He the doctor, you know what I'm saying? Like he too intricate. He asking too many questions. You know what I mean? He want to know how every dollar is being spent. Like he even wanted his change back when Theo went to go buy a shirt. You know what I'm saying? So Dr. Huxtable, get him up out of here. Great dad though. He's America's dad, but I'm going with Uncle Phil because you could kind of finesse Uncle Phil. You know what I'm saying? He don't be paying attention because he got all them court cases, so he don't be paying attention sometimes. Stanford is funny, but we too broke if I'm Stanford, son. We too poor. Like, nah, I don't want to be around the struggle. And Mr. Winslow, he a cop. He a top cop. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing worse than having a top cop as your pop. So, like, can't do nothing. So, I'm going with Uncle Phil. I'm saying Uncle Phil. AOL chat rooms. The AOL chat rooms back in the day used to be some scary, funny, sexy. It was 42nd Street. I tell you that, bro. And he's from Philly. Rest in peace, Theo. That's a fact. Rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. Shout out to Paul, and he always admits he remembers being younger, going through young people things. Also, Uncle Phil. Yep. Yes. Yeah, that's what I say. I'm going with Uncle Phil. I'm going with Uncle Phil. And again, I'm going with Uncle Phil because he got the access. He was tough when he needed to be tough, but you gonna get to enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can finesse Uncle Phil with a good time. You know what I'm saying? You can finesse him with a good time. So, pause. But yeah, so I'm going with Uncle Phil. Remember the Little Richard wig? I remember that episode when they tried to get him to get a hairpiece. Yes, that was classic episodes. Classic episodes. You know what's kind of funny though? Ari Lennox, she found so like disheart and she was so bothered with the Martin jokes or how he cracked on Gina. But I'm pretty sure she was a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fan. And Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was cracking dark skin jokes. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's still a classic show. Like, people is so sensitive or too sensitive when it comes to jokes. Like, it's supposed to be funny. And sometimes these jokes, it's just jokes. Jeffrey No Hips. Yeah, that's a classic show. That's a classic show. My favorite character on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is hands down Carlton. Me personally. The wink in the gun episode where he couldn't believe that he got the wink in the gun, thought he was going to get the job. And he said, yo, I could have understand if I wasn't qualified. I couldn't understand if I didn't do this. But you gave me the wink in the gun, my G. So if you gave me the wink in the gun, that means you the guy. You don't give me the job after you gave me the wink in the gun. Yo, Carlton was popping. Shout out to Carlton. Alfonso Roberto, I believe that's his name. I'm going with the Gomez from the Addams Family, my best TV dad. That's a fact. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, our must-see segment. I'm going to give y'all 3 must-see fire movies, as always. Make sure y'all tap in, check them out. Last episode, I gave y'all Criminal Law, The Good Son, and Disturbia, so I hope y'all got a chance to see them, because these are some fire must-see movies. All right, my 3 must-see movies for tonight. The first one came out in 1994, directed by Doug McHenry. This stars Alan Payne, Jada Pinkett Smith, Bokeem Woodbine, Tretch, Susan Douglas, Lisa Nicole Carson, Eddie Griffin, and Forrest Whitaker. This movie is called Jason's Lyric. Fire fire movie. Y'all must see this if y'all haven't seen this before. It's about a young man trying to get his life on track. His brother comes out of jail and he meets a new woman, and you have to see the rest of the movie. It's such a fire movie. Make sure y'all tap in to see Jason's lyrics. Second movie, must-see movie, came out 2019, directed by C.J. Shandar, sorry. This movie stars Ben Affleck, Oscar Isaac, Charlie Hannon, Pedro Pascal, and Garrett Hinlin. This movie is called Triple Frontier. Fire movie about a basically a group of specialists in the armed forces. They make their way to another country and they hit a lick. Pause. And you have to see the rest of the movie. Again, I won't ruin it for y'all. I won't spoil it. So make sure y'all tap in to see Triple Frontier. My third and final must-see movie came out in 1998, directed by Andrew Davis. This movie stars Michael Douglas, Gwyneth Paltrow, Viggo Mortensen, David Sitch, and Sarita Hoarder. This movie is called A Perfect Murder. Fire movie. This is about a financial guy who is running a business and he's kind of losing his money, and he finds out his wife is cheating, and you have to see the rest of the movie. Again, this is not even a spoiler, so make sure y'all tap in to see A Perfect Murder. So my three must-see movies again is Jason's Lyrics, Triple Frontier, and A Perfect Murder. So make sure y'all tap in to see those movies. Quick shout out to Ryan Anderson. Appreciate you tapping in, my brother. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. He said, I hit the button. I seen that second. That's funny. So yes, hit that button. Appreciate you tapping in, my brother. All right, y'all, moving on to our next one. Y'all know I'm gonna give y'all some fire music to tap into. A group or artist, whether it's new or old, hip hop or R&B. I'm gonna give y'all that good vibration. Tonight's artist is an R&B group. Make sure y'all tap in and put these three songs on your playlist. By All For One, the group All For One. Make sure you put these three songs on your playlist. Number one, So Much in Love, fire song. Number two, I Swear. Number three, She Got Skills. These three songs is a good time. You know what I'm saying? Fire song. So again, make sure y'all tap into All For One. Again, number one, So Much in Love. Number two, I Swear. Number three, She Got Skills. Fire music. Make sure y'all tap in. All right, y'all, moving on to our next one. Y'all know I'm going to give y'all a must-read book. So put this book on your read list. This book is called Tiny Homes. Tiny Homes. And this book is by Daniel Sultan. Fire book on learning how to build tiny homes. For some reason, I've been addicted to watching like shows and wilderness channels that people like just build random homes in the wilderness and this, that, and the third, and they use minimal, products and stuff like that to build these homes, and tools, I should say. And it's so fascinating. And learning how to build a home is an actual tool. Learning square footage when you buy a home, when you're paying rent, and learning the value of that is also an asset. So make sure, again, y'all read this book. Again, it's called Tiny Homes, and it's by Daniel Sultan. So make sure y'all tap into that book. All right, y'all, moving on. Y'all already know. Send them to turkey or nah. Send them to turkey or nah. Type in T to send them to turkey. Type in N not to send them to turkey. First one of the night. Billionaire Warren Buffett said, a college degree doesn't matter. So let me know what y'all think about that. Are we sending Warren Buffett to turkey or nah? Type in T or type in N in the chat. Type in T. Type in N in the chat. Are we sending Warren Buffett to turkey for his comment that a college degree doesn't matter? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Shout out to Paul, my favorite segment, send them the turkey. You feel me? You feel me? I'm telling you, send them the turkey, you know? And for those who don't know about send them the turkey, it's a inside joke on the show because Turkey has some of the most stringent laws. And every time somebody's on some BS, we always say, yo, let's send them to Turkey. Let's get them to Turkey. So I'm already seeing in the chat, they saying send them to Turkey. They saying send them to Turkey. Me personally, it's two ways about this. It's two ways about this, right? So on one end, I can't send them to Turkey, y'all. I know. On one end, I can't because the people who are in the most advantageous situations and positions in the world, when you look at most business leaders, business owners, these people have minimal education. And the education that they do have, it fit a structure, meaning they got their education to run a business that was regarded and surrounded in their education. Now, if you tell poor people, broke people that education doesn't matter, then I'm sending you all the way to Turkey because education is a gateway to success. Meaning, if you get the right education, not just any education, if you get the right education as a poor person, meaning that you was able to get afforded scholarships, full scholarships, without having to pay for school, and that degree that you receive was able to be used into the field that you're going to get, and you are raised as a traditional poor person coming from nothing, then coming from nothing and going into an $80,000 situation obviously is not, a waste of time. So it depends on who you're talking to, right? The high school I went to a very prestigious high school. And even though I had the grades to be there, I was there because I played football. I actually got recruited to play football in high school. And because I did well on the field, I was able to go to the school, even if I had a high, 89 average, right? That didn't matter. It was because I played football, right? So at the end of the day, for me, you can't tell me education doesn't exist. But I was in class with people who didn't even really care about education like that. Mind you, my high school was in a neighborhood where it was nothing but mansions and big houses. They had buildings, but these buildings didn't mirror the buildings in my neighborhood, right? So these people in this well-to-do neighborhood, the kids was driving to schools in luxury cars. The kids I went to school with didn't even really care about school because it's like, yeah, you going hard, bro, to get a job. I could chill and just get my high school diploma with a D average, and I'm going into $100,000 business. So I honestly believe it depends on what your family structure is and where you're at financially. Because if your family is good and you have that mentality, then obviously it really don't matter because you're going to learn the family business anyway. And imagine being 18, 19, making and starting out with $100,000. For somebody like me, I didn't do that until it took me a minute to do that. So again, it depends on who you asking. So for the majority of the people who are broke in this world, education, it kind of do and it kind of don't, because people also use the special forces. That's a form of education. So I believe the right education will get you paid, because if you don't get formal education in college or uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Education from the armed forces, or skill, because I remember they used to have places where you get vocational training. If you're not getting those type of skills, then your family have to be well off. So it really depends on who you asking. But a guy like Warren Buffett, he done seen the top of the business chain. So the most of the people that he's surrounded is not like greatly educated people. So that's what he's speaking from regarding that. Job Corps, yeah, shout out to Christopher Rivera. Job Corps, yes, because Job Corps is a place where you could go and learn practical skills that get you paid. And people like to dislike the plumbing industry, the electronic industry. If you learn those type of skills, you can make $1 million faster than trying to do other jobs and menial jobs, because you're learning a skill that will always get you paid, especially plumbing and especially electrician work. But it's so frowned upon, and it's not like a sexy business to run or a sexy thing to do. So it really depends on who you asking, in my opinion. So to me, there's a place for Warren Buffett to go all the way to Turkey with that, but there's also a place that he's speaking from with, again, the room that he's in with all these billionaires is not heavily educated. So there's something to be said about that. And even Rockefeller said that the reason why college was built in the first place was to teach people how to be workers. The format of college, getting people to fear having and losing a job at any moment. So instead of having a job, you learn how to have a career. And if you have a career, the more invested you are and the more susceptible you are to following the rules and not, trying to lose your place and losing your job. So there's some truth to what he was saying. Shout out to Patrick as well. A degree is overrated. A degree doesn't mean you are educated. I love that. You can educate yourself by reading yourself. A degree gets you your foot in the door as far as a job. And again, it depends what field you go into. Because just because you have a degree and you want to get in this field may require a different degree. So that's why I say the job or the career that you're going to go into, that degree has to match. If it doesn't, then it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And a lot of people that completed college, they like to say, I'm educated. But in the real world, I've seen more people struggle with masters, with bachelors in the real world, opposed to people with educational skills. I'm just saying. So there's a happy medium to both, because both is needed. Greatly educated. Shout out to Kyla in the building. Appreciate you in the building. Chun. Sorry, I said Con. Pause. Chun Kyler in the building. Now I own my shop, making $85,000 a year. That's fire. That's fire. I took auto mechanics. I don't have a degree, and I'm a master certified. I'm an ASE master certified. I love that. I love that. And see, again, formal education is not end all be all. So having real skills, especially something that you love doing, that could take you very far. Running your own business, running multiple businesses. So my father, both my parents was heavily educated. Both my parents had master's degree. Both of them didn't make over 100 grand until I was somewhere in my like 20s. It took them a long time. So again, education, it depends on the education and the field you go into. So there was some truth to what he said. So I'm kind of on both sides of it. So I was kind of letting y'all, dictate that as far as sending him to Turkey or not. But I'm glad I got the different answers that I got, because again, our society is not one tilted. We have self-made millionaires where people have started businesses without formal education. They just have drive, and they learned a simple skill, and they just kept redoing it over and over, and they kept seeing the more people. So, that's a skill in itself as well. My wife is a RN making $97 a year. She got her master's in nursing. That's why, masters, nursing is, I'm trying to tell you, like when I was in college, some of the hardest women to get time with was nursing majors, because they was always studying. You know what I'm saying? You had to sneak in, sneak out, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So They was always studying, you know what I'm saying? So, never mind that, you know what I'm saying? Never mind when I'm talking about sneak in, sneak out, you know what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying. We all grown here, but nursing majors was definitely hard because they always was studying. That's a hard profession to get into. So shout out to your wife as well, man. I have 8 employees. That's fire, man. That's fire. Again, I know people because I own businesses outside of my music, and in these businesses, I know people that don't have their formal education as far as a college degree, no college at all, just their high school diplomas, and they have lucrative businesses making over 250 to 375,000 a year. People I know. So there is a space for that. So, but again, there's other people that use education to get the right degree and to go into the right field. And those people was able to, basically go from rags to riches. So there's a platform and a path to that as well too. So all right, y'all. Moving on to our next one. Again, we still on Send Them to Turkey or Nah. Send Them to Turkey or Nah. Rappers Beanie Siegel and Jadakiss have announced that they're releasing a collaboration album. Are we sending this to Turkey or Nah? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Type in T to send them to Turkey. Type in N not to send them to send them to Turkey. Again, rappers Beanie Siegel, Jadakiss have announced that they're doing a collaboration album. Let me know if y'all want to send them to Turkey or not. Me personally, I'm a child of rap and R&B, and Beanie Siegel and Jadakiss are some of my favorite rappers of all time. I remember when they was beefing, you know what I'm saying? And when they was spitting hollow points at each other, you know what I'm saying? But to see them click up, link up, and to do some music together, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Me personally, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Jadakiss is one of the best to ever do it. Beanie Siegel was one of the best to ever do it. Now, Beanie Siegel have changed because he did have a situation where his voice changed a little bit. So that kind of takes away the authentic Beanie Siegel, in my opinion. But he's still a great artist. He still can think. He still can put rhymes together. And to me, I think it's going to be fire. I think it's going to be fire. If they would have did this in the prime of their career, or at the height, I should say, I think this would probably be easily one of the most anticipated albums that we could think of, right? But now that they're older, I think because they've been through more, that makes them better rappers and more balanced. So I think we'll get a fire album out of this. I'm seeing in the chat like it's kind of like it's kind of tie in the chat, but I'm seeing y'all like some saying no and some people are saying like yeah, send that to Turkey. But again, me personally, I think it's going to be a fire album. I can't wait to hear this. We've been getting some fire music. We got some fire music by Raekwon the Chef and Ghostface. We also got Clips. The Clips gave us a fire album. So again, I think this will be great for the game with real bars is back. You know what I'm saying? So, and me, I love them bars. I'm working on my new album as we speak as well too. So Christopher Rivera, Sorry I'm 49. I'm stuck on my boys, New Edition, and etc. Frankie Beverly and the Maze. Hey, bro, ain't nothing wrong with that. You acting like you named some regulars. You know what I'm saying? Those are pioneers in the game. Those are legends in the game. You know what I'm saying? As well as Jadakiss, but that's a different genre. But come on, man, Frankie Beverly and the Maze. Come on, you ain't. Don't threaten me with a good time. You know what I'm saying? That's a great time right there. You know what I mean? New Edition. Come on, that's crazy. That fire music. Bring back great rap music. I think it was going to be fire, Ebony. I think it's going to be fire. Shout out to Ebony, one of them badge holders, man. Shout out to Paul. No, don't send them to Turkey, but personally, I would prefer Jeezy and Jadakiss. That is an interesting mix. That is a very interesting mix. I would love to hear why. Because that's a very interesting mix. Like, Jeezy has a northern style, but he definitely have a southern influence. But you could hear the northern influence in his music as well too. But to me, they make like very different music. Is that the reason why you would love to see Jeezy and Jadakiss? Because they do make different music, and you just want to see how that would come together. Because for me, Jadakiss and Beanie is right in pocket in what they do, and I think that would be like absolutely like fire, in my opinion. In my opinion. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. So I'm not going to send them to Turkey. Me personally, I think it's going to be a fire idea. I think it's going to be a fire album, and I'm looking forward to it. Just like both artists. Okay, ain't nothing wrong with that. Just you like them artists, you want to put them together and see what the magic can happen. So I'm cool with that as well too. That would be fire as well. So shout out to um, Jadakiss and Beanie Siegel for announcing that they're gonna do a collabo album. I think it's gonna be fire, so I'm looking forward to hearing that. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps. Again, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, snaps.com. Again, that's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. First hot topic of the night. There's a new condom that changes colors when it detects an STD. What do y'all think about that in the chat? I know the chat gonna be buzzing on this one. Let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Again, there's a new condom that changes color when it detects STDs. Let me know what y'all think in the chat, because this is crazy. Me personally, it's about got time. It's about got time. I don't understand how this is not developed 10 years ago. We in the age of technology. I love this. I love this because this keeps the playing field as safe as possible. Because first of all, we gotta do a better job at vetting, and we have to do a better job at having the uncomfortable conversation about having or doing the my charts before you even get intimate with somebody. So the fact if you do that and have the condom to get it popping, and if it changes a certain color, like whoa, if you keep on going, it could be a lot of this is risque sex here, So I love that because again, this helps give more protection to people sexually. Because let's keep it real. A part of the reason why HIV has gone up, chlamydia has gone up. What's the other one? I can't think of right now. Herpes have gone up. 1 out of 2 adults in this country has herpes. We're in that realm. 1 out of 2 adults in this country, in the USA, has herpes. So the fact that, again, they developed a condom that detects this just gives more added protection to what people need to do in protecting each other. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to affect anybody, and you don't want to be infected neither. So I love this. I think, again, this keeps the pool safe, or safer, I should say, in the realms of having sex. But these cases haven't gone up by accident. Like, we got to keep it all the way real. Most people that end up with these cases are having unprotected sex. Simple and plain. Not using condoms properly, not using condoms at all, whether it's for vaginal sex or oral sex, having dental dams. So again, people are risking it for the biscuit, and it's not benefiting us as a culture, as a community worldwide, because again, this is getting higher and higher. On another end, I've heard people argue and saying by them having more cases is better because it forces the administration to develop cures. Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because in my opinion, I believe the system is built on having control of the population, or population control. So an STD that could lead to death is a part of population control. So if our society was built on saving people, because I honestly believe that they have cure to the AIDS and all these diseases, but the money is in the medicine, not in the cure. So I really believe that, and they it's not going to share it with people, and because I also believe there's people that had serious diseases but also was able to get rid of it due to doing the proper research, taking the proper medicine, and having those foundational medicines in the minute of things, and got rid of whatever STD that they may have had. So I honestly believe that there's a cure to all this stuff. And I don't think it's going to force the administration, the health administration, to not even force a cure, but to give a cure, be like, yo, that saves some people, yo. We're not gonna have enough people around here. So again, I think this will be great because it keeps the pool even safer. Let me check out the chat real quick. So when do I find out the color change at the end, or do you test it for a few seconds? Because when I'm on, who's stopping to check to see? Just ask it. That's a great question. That's a great question. Or as soon as it as soon as it puts in, the color would change or not. They didn't go that in depth in the article as of yet, but it's coming out, and of course when it comes out, it's gonna because those are questions that popped up immediately. It's like, yo, so while I'm in there, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it changing colors on the spot? Like, and if it does, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. But you made an interesting point, because do it change at the end? Like, because once you in, you in. When it feel good, it feel good. So, but what's a movie that I always think back to when we have these hard conversations about sex? And as a kid, I'm like, yo, that could never happen. But it's like we kind of going into that, that frame, is the movie Demolition Man, where with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes, and Sylvester Stallone character had an intimate scene with with the main the woman in that movie. I can't think of her name right now. Sandra Bullock. And she was like, yo, would you like to have sex? And he's like, yeah, of course. Like, what you mean? Like, a fine ass woman like you, of course. She goes to the back of her room. She get all dressed nice and sexy. She brings the whole bowl, and she like, yo, put these on. And he like, oh, all right. He got a shirt off. He like, all right, this is new. So he put on the virtual joint. She got on the virtual joint, and then it's getting popping in the virtual world. And he like, yo, hold on. I thought we was gonna smash out for real. She like, nah, that's too many diseases involved. So when we have these interesting conversations about sex, it made me think about the movie, because it feels like we're going into virtual sex, and I would hate that. You know what I'm saying? If the pool got that muddy and crazy where we can't have no physical sex, it's gonna get scared, spooky hours out here. People can't have for real sex. So again, those are some great questions. I want to know the answers to those questions. That was the first thing that popped up in my mind, and they're gonna have further information regarding that. But the condom is coming out with, it detects STDs. So again, I think that's great for the culture of dating. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. All-Pro pass rusher Michael Parsons has been traded to the Packers. The Dallas Cowboys get 2 first-round draft picks plus Pro Bowler defensive tackle Kenny Clark, and also Michael Parsons does sign with the Green Bay Packers for 4 years, $188 million. Wow. And 136 of it is guaranteed. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I think this shape up the whole conference of the NFC. This was probably the best move for the Dallas Cowboys. Is Micah a great player? Yes. Is he one of the best defensive players in the league? Yes. But even with him, right now, with this team, the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion, in this season, after all the teams I've seen in the preseason, and yeah, it's the preseason, but from what I've seen, they're going to be the worst team in the division. The Giants is so much improved. Russell Wilson fits the Giants, and based on the things that he could do. His receivers, Malik Neighbors, I think this is going to be a breakout year for him. He had a great year last year, but this year is going to be scary hours. He got unknown, unnamed guys on the other end that could really beat coverages. And that's going to make it even easier for him. The running game is even more fortified. The offensive line has gotten leaps and bounds better, to be honest with you. And again, the quarterback room is a great room. If you lose Russell Wilson, you have Jameis, you have Dart, who could come in and play in spots and possibly, make a great run. So I think the Giants is better than the Cowboys. Even though I don't think Philly is the same team of last year, they're still better than the Cowboys. The Cowboys is not beating the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Commanders. The Commanders is going to take another step forward this year. I honestly believe that. Daniels, on his run last year, realized he has special powers. The boy could run, he could throw, he could read the defense, and his team believes. His team believes if you keep the game within 2 touchdowns, they have a shot. That's a scary team to play each and every Sunday. So with this time, it's time to rebuild Dallas. It's time to rebuild Dallas because Dallas is several players away from being great. And it's not just going to be Michael Parsons and another player and you're going to make a championship run. No. They got to rebuild that team. So I think them getting the 2 first-round picks, Packers kind of fleeced them a little bit, but you're still getting 2 first-round picks. And if you're able to turn that into something, you could change your franchise around. So that's what I believe. I think for the Packers is a playoff team already. They're going to make a step forward as well too. So again, he's going to fit what they do for the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, their organization is in the business of winning. Dallas Cowboys is not. Dallas Cowboys is a very well-known, famous franchise. If they win, cool. If they don't, they still cool. They don't care about none of that. They want to dominate the headlines. And even with Michael Parsons, they're not the best team in the division, let alone the conference. So, I think this worked out for both teams, in my opinion, regarding this trade. And then on top of it, the Cowboys, they do get Kenny Clark. He's a Pro Bowler. That matters. That matters. People say, well, he's not Michael Parsons. No, he's not. But he does his job. He does his job. And you need guys who do their job. You don't necessarily need guys who are big name guys that you don't feel comfortable in paying. And did Michael deserve that money? Absolutely. But Jerry Jones says something very prevalent about business. About business. The person that has to be comfortable is the person that's writing the check, not the person that's getting the check, regardless if you earned it or not. And yeah, you earned it, but you're going to get it on another team, just not with this team. And that's fine too, just as long as I get my money on. But again, the owner has to be comfortable writing that check. So this worked out for both organizations, in my opinion. Patrick Torres, the Packers, are a contender to come out in the NFC now with the trade. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Now what it comes down to, and this is just my observation, the Green Bay Packers receivers has to be more consistent in catching the ball. They have to be consistent. They have a lot of drops on their team. Jordan Love is a risk taker. He's athletic, and he's going to create opportunities for those guys to win their one-on-one matchups. They have to catch the ball. They have to catch the ball. So they definitely have the talent to take the next step. Super Bowl, not really. But, you know, wild card, divisional, maybe semifinals, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I was always curious, once they force a player to trade, do they offer more money for the inconvenience of having to change? No. No. Impossible move to another state? No. Rowan Jack in the building. One of our other bad shoulders, and day one in the building. Appreciate you tapping in, Rowan Jack, man. But yeah, they don't. There's no inconvenience fees that they give you when you get traded. Nah. See, how it works is that one team wasn't willing to pay him his extension, so the other team was like, "Yo, we will pay him." See what I'm saying? And that's how that works. And that's how the trade worked, because that team wasn't going to give him what he wanted. So, and then if the team didn't give him what they wanted, what he can do is sit out. He could forfeit all his money and sit out to the next year, which, you know, one player have done, and it didn't work out for him, because it don't make sense to sit out a whole year, because you lose a whole year's check. And on top of that, like, you kind of lose like your stuff. So, but yeah, they don't give you an inconvenience fee. You know, I'm saying he getting $188 million. Divide that in 4 years, and $136 million guarantee, and he probably get, I believe it's like 50 million just to sign his name. So I don't think he gonna complain about moving fees, you know. Bowen in the build. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Hit them likes, hit them 100s, hit them likes, hit them 100s. Appreciate you tapping in. Playhouse Disney Channel. Okay, cool. Appreciate that. Appreciate that information. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Don't be weird. You coming off as a troll, and that's not gonna be good, because I give tickets to trolls. Shout out to Patrick. Hopefully my Giants have baby Micah Parsons and Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter, talent-wise, is phenomenal. But there's going to be growing pains. He's going to have to go through a season. I don't believe he's going to like go hammies this year. I think he goes hammy next year. I do. This year, I think it's going to be a growing pains this year. I think he's going to have like a good season, but it's not going to be like, you get what I'm saying. It's not going to be like all pro type of season. I think this season is for growth for him, me personally. But he's a great player. I think Thibodeau is going to have a breakout year for y'all, though. Shout out to Rowan Jack. He just gifted some badges in the chat. Some thank yous. Send some thank yous his way. Appreciate you, Rowan Jack, again, for always contributing to the show. I appreciate that immensely. Thank you. It helps with the growth of the show. So he just gifted y'all with some memberships, y'all. So again, send that man some thank yous, and I appreciate that as well, man. But yes, so like I said, I think this shapes up the whole NFL, but the NFC in particular, I think the Green Bay Packers will make a deep playoff run, a deep playoff run. But that NFC East quietly is very talented. That's a very talented bunch because again, Washington is scary. When you believe in your quarterback, the team is scary. I think the Giants is boom or bust for me, but I think the Giants have a solid season. I don't think there's any team in the NFC East this year that's going to beat the Giants twice. The only team that may beat them twice is Washington. I don't even think Philly beats them twice this year. I think Washington beats the Giants twice. And it's just the style how Washington plays. So that's what I believe. Thank you, my dude, Rowan. Yeah, send that man some thank yous, man. Send that man some thank you. 1 year anniversary badge. Yo, that's dope, Rowan. That's dope. My bro Rowan had his badge for 1 year. Appreciate you. Yo, that's dope, man. That's fire. That's fire. I wish I had a 1 year song to celebrate that. That's fire. That's big time. I appreciate that for real. For a whole year you had your badge, man. Thank you. Thank you. That's fire. I like the fact that YouTube keep track of that. That's fire. And if I would have known that beforehand, I would have had a song and all that. You know what I'm saying? We would have been rocking out. You know what I mean? So again, I appreciate that, man. Really supporting the show. Keep in mind the Giants have the hardest schedule this year. They do, but I never believe in schedules like that because teams are never the same the year prior. So I don't necessarily believe that because they go on based on what's last year. And based on last year, yeah, you have a hard schedule, but from year to year, it changes every year. It changes every year. And it'll be a team that we like, yo, that team gonna be nice. And they turn out to be a stinker. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be an interesting year to say the least, though. To say the least. You can still sing for. Come on, Rowan, man. Come on, man. But again, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta still send me some ideas. We got episode 200 coming up. Y'all gotta send me some ideas to do for the 200th episode. Bro, Ash perform a little something tonight. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Y'all want me to do a little something? Y'all want me to do a little something? You know what I'm saying? Y'all want me to do a little something, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I had to button my shirt, you know what I'm saying? Y'all want me to do a little something, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so again, I think this is going to be a fire season, and this trade that shook up the NFL. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Prisoner Benjamin Scrobler, Benjamin Scrobler, who died and came back to life, argued technically he did his life sentence. His life sentence has ended, and he wants to be let free. He wants to be let free. He had a situation while he was in jail. It was kind of vague on what really happened, but he technically died and then came back. And he wants to be let free. What say y'all in the chat? Should they let him free because he technically died and they brought him, they was able to revive him? Is that a life sentence? Or it's like, nah, nah, you staying in there. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Rowan Jack sent him the turkey. Send him the turkey. That's funny. That's funny. Paul, nope. Yeah, that's funny. Me personally, and he's an old man too, by the way. I think it comes down to what he did. You know what I'm saying? If he did a little fraud or something like that, all right, you know what I'm saying? We let you rock. You know what I'm saying? Just stay out of trouble. If you get into trouble, you coming right back. But if it's something, obviously anything with kids or rape or just anything of that nature, a murder, nah, bro, you're not pulling that one, kid. You're not pulling that one. So I think it depends on what he did. but to get a life sentence, it had to be something egregious, right? So, exactly depends on what he did. I agree. Fair enough. Yeah, like I said, how many people get life sentence for fraud, right? Like you had to that fraud, that amount of money had to be so crazy. Like, yeah, nah, you defrauded too many people for us to ever let you out. So I'm guessing his life sentence, because again, they didn't have all this information as far as in that particular article. So I just thought it was interesting the fact that he was like, "Yo, let me out. I did my life sentence. I died and came back to life, baby." You know. So, what do you think about the man who ended brothers getting rejected? Patrick, what you mean? What do you think about the men ended brothers getting rejected? What you mean? Let me know what you mean. More about the Menendez brothers. The Menendez brothers. You know what's crazy? We covered a show, an episode last year where it was sometime in October where the Menendez brothers were supposed to be let free in like last November. They had a new case. They had like basically a new trial and all this other stuff, and they were supposed to be let free. And it was like, oh, we're going to prolong it to January, and January came around, and we didn't hear nothing else from it. So, and I believe they're still locked up. They haven't had an update on their case as of yet. So, yeah. Yeah, so the Menendez brothers getting rejected. Yeah, because I remember that. Like, and it was just not too long ago. It was like last October. So, see, that one is tricky to me. That one is tricky to me because their case, the brothers are saying that their murder is tied to trauma. And if it's truly tied to trauma, then it's like, yo, let them folks out, man. But then there's the other side of me, bro. It's like you murdered your parents, though, bro. Like I get they did the worst if they did that, but you still unalive them, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a little whoop ass, and I'm not for I'm just one of them kids. No matter what my parents do, they still my parents, right? And even though they're wrong, they still right, even when they're wrong, right? So murder is never an option. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not gonna talk to y'all. I ain't gonna murder your ass. You know what I'm saying? So that's a tough one to call, bro. If I'm the judge, I gotta go based on evidence. And they said that it's still murky whether their parents abused them or not. There was no real history of that. So they was just trying to use that ploy to get out of jail. And then one of the brothers was using like the case as an actual damn script. So I don't know. Them brothers is wild. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they had a parole hearing a couple days ago, and it got denied. Oh wow, I didn't hear about that. Okay. I didn't hear about that. Wow, that's crazy. Again, I'm not mad at it though. Cause again, you murdered your parents in cold blood, bro. That's wild work. And the reason why that matters is because these are your parents. So if you could do that to your parents when you extremely upset, Lord knows what you could do to anybody else. And it's so crazy because I covered this on the last episode where most kids in this country, our fathers are treated as our first enemy. So, and there's no space for a lot of fathers to get grace and to get forgiveness. And the crazy thing is, like, our parents forgive us as kids all the time, but we don't look at it that way because we're the kid, right? But kids don't do great stuff. I used to tell my mother some outlandish things growing up, and she still loved me, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't even my mother's favorite, you know what I'm saying? I could say that. That's sad to say, right? When you're not your mother's favorite. Like, Coach Prom has said that, like, yo, this one is my favorite, this one is not my favorite. Yeah, I know for a fact I wasn't my mother's favorite. I was too outspoken. You know what I'm saying? My mother didn't like all that. She didn't like all the mouth. I had the mouth growing up, pause. You know what I'm saying? Had all the mouth. So, but my dad, I was my dad's favorite though. People say I was my dad's favorite. They say that. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt, right? But yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I probably wouldn't let them out either because of the egregious act of that. So yeah. So all right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Uh, question. Most people want to be responsible, or do y'all? I'm sorry. Do y'all agree with this statement? Sorry. Do y'all agree with this statement? Most people want to be responsible for your success, but don't want to be a part of it. Do y'all agree with that statement or not? Do y'all agree with that statement or not? Again, the statement is most people want to be responsible for your success, but don't want to be a part of it. Like, don't want to be a part of the journey. Let me know what y'all think about that. Paul disagree in the chat. Okay. Paul disagree in the chat. Me personally, I do see some truth to that. Um, Mainly because like when I started out in music in '07, '08, at that time, it wasn't popular to be an independent artist. It wasn't popular. Like if you wasn't a part of, and this is a real thing, anybody that was an artist around '07, '08, '09, '10 could attest to this. If you wasn't a part of the Diddy crew, as far as because P. Diddy was well known. He was ringing bells, right, in the music space. If you wasn't with P. Diddy, if you wasn't with Jay-Z, if you wasn't with 50 Cent, if you wasn't with Rick Ross, if you wasn't with a major entity, people didn't take your music serious. People like would say shit like, don't forget about me when you get famous, right? And don't buy an album or don't include themselves in helping you be better and being bigger, right? When that statement shouldn't be don't forget about me when you get famous. The statement should be like, when I leave, I'm gonna tell 3 people about your music, right? But people used to really like think that like, yo, that's kind of not popping to be independent. So, and then once you get popping, then people start coming around like, oh, like, all right, so you got motion. I want to be a part of the motion. And that's a New York City energy. I can't speak for that worldwide, but in New York City, you can know a lot of people. You go on your social media, they not playing none of your music on social media, but they play somebody else's music that they don't even know. And a person that they don't even know don't even have better music than you. But they will show them love because they don't want to be looked at as a dick rider. And a New York mentality is like supporting is dick riding. When it's just support, you could support somebody without having to lower your thought process to say that you're dick riding. And that's like a mental thing in the culture. It's like, yo, what happened to just genuinely wanting to support somebody because of their talent? They have talent, so support the talent. You don't have to be dick riding to do that. Pause. So that's like a mentality for real in New York. So, and then once you get motion, then it's like, all right, it's cool to root for this person. It's cool to buy some tickets to his show. It's cool to buy his CD. It's cool to get a T-shirt. So I remember that vividly. Like even my very first show in Manhattan, it was packed too. Packed. I may have known maybe 10 people in the crowd. All these people I didn't even know. They knew my music and everything. I'm like, yo, all right, we rocking out, baby. Like, and they knew majority of the songs. And mind you, when I first came out, it wasn't all the way where I wanted to be musically, right? But people came out and supported. And I know a lot of people. I played college football before I started my music. I've always played sports, football, basketball. I box. So I know a lot of people. So to only know 10 people in the crowd is crazy to me, including my mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? So again, most people don't want to be a part of you growing. They want to be a part of the motion. So that's why I agree with that statement. But shout out to Paul. She disagreed. I think people don't want to help you do the work, but want to be there for the good things when you get successful. Yeah. So we're saying the same thing. So we're saying the same thing. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So we're saying the same thing. Yes. Yes. Only when it involves getting monetary value from you. Yes. 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 Yeah. Shout out to Ryan, Pastor. Yeah, but it's a fact though. It's a fact. Like, and then what's weird, like New York City is one of those places where if they don't believe, they want to get paid. But if they believe, they just believe and they will be there. You know what I'm saying? It took me a while, and I'm just speaking for myself personally. It took me a while to build my crew. You know what I'm saying? My first project ever was like in '07. I didn't build my crew until like '09. And then once I built my crew, then it became, it was on and popping. But people had to see me do all this work for instead of like being a part of the day one and, help the build and stuff like that. So I agree with that though. I agree with that. Just based on my experiences. Just based on my experience. So, I agree with that. Now being an independent artist, that's the thing to do. You'll be surprised that more independent artists that you never heard of is more financially in place than artists that you see on TV, always in the tabloids. They have more money than them. I guarantee that. I guarantee that. There's people that could attest to that. That artists you never heard of in small cities. And in these small cities, when you turn on the radio, that artist is getting played on the radio religiously. When you go to the club, that artist is getting paid to be at that club. Yes. So you'll be surprised regarding that. So it's just the image of, yo, you next to him, oh yeah, you must be popping. When they getting raping you records, so they raping the publishing, all the chicken, all the distribution bread, everything, the back end money, the 200%, all that. So again, I agree with that, me personally. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Popular opinion question. Moving on to our next hot topic. I'm doing right. Moving on to our next hot topic. 6 of Deion Sanders' former players of the Colorado Buffaloes have made the 53-man roster on the NFL team. So that's big news. So in 2 years, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders got 6 players in the NFL on NFL rosters. Shout out to Travis Hunter. We expected that, right? He's going to play both ways. We expect that. I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year either on defense or on offense. I really do believe that. Also, we got Travis Hunter. We got Shedeur Sanders. Shout out to Shedeur Sanders. We knew he was going to make the team. We knew that. So, shout out to Shedeur Sanders. Shout out to LaJohntay Wester. Amazing player for Baltimore. He's going to be playing receiver and on the special teams. He had a punt return. Shout out to Jimmy Horn Jr. that made the team. He's going to punt return and be the team's 3rd or 4th receiver, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's going to be their 4th receiver, 4th or 5th receiver. But he's on the team. Shout out to BJ Green, also playing with his former teammate Travis Hunter on Jacksonville Jaguars, and Xavier Weaver, a receiver playing with the Arizona Cardinals. So shout out to them. And also shout out to Cameron Selman Craig, who's the 7th player who is on Jacksonville Jaguars on their practice squad. So again, shout out to Coach Prime. Within 2 years, he's building that NFL pipeline. And I think that's extremely dope and special for him to turn that around. So that's amazing. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. The LGBTQ community is furious with legendary rapper Snoop Dogg after watching Disney Lightyear film with his grandson, and the grandson had made a comment on the same-sex couple having a child, and he's watching the movie with the grandson, and the grandson is like, "Yo, how can two women have a baby?" And he like, "Yo, the movie ain't over with." Like, you know what I'm saying? He just wasn't here for all that. He was just here to spend time and not to do no explaining to his grandson. So I wonder what y'all think about that in the chat as well. Me personally, I don't see nothing wrong with him saying that. Like, we too damn sensitive in our honesty. Masculinity is being weaponized against masculine men. And I hate using that term, masculine men. It's like, yo, like being a man, it's like, yo, we can't speak our mind. Like for me, I'm going to speak my mind. You can't do nothing with what I'm saying at all, because I'm always speaking from a place of logic, truth, and my belief. So you can't make me feel no type of way. Now, Snoop Dogg, who's probably one of the most famous people in the world, I think he's probably the most famous entertainer as well as a rapper in the world living right now. So it may be a little different for him. This may affect his pockets just a little bit. But he's not wrong in feeling what he feels. He came to enjoy the movie and to have a moment and create a moment with his grandson. He's not here to answer those type of questions. He's not here for none of that. And to demonize him because he says he's not here for that, oh, but you should be able to tell him that, you know, same sex. Nah, we can't be so mean because we want to keep certain traditions alive. And the crazy thing is, I grew up seeing same couple marriages in my neighborhood. I knew same couple, and I'm not going to blow nobody up, even though they probably wouldn't care. But at the end of the day, I seen it growing up. I didn't need explanation on what they was doing. I knew what they was doing at a young age, and everybody else knew what they was doing. So if we know that, it don't need to be explained. And if I did need more clarity, my father or my mom wouldn't be wrong in waiting to have that conversation. So you can't demonize this man because he wants to wait to have this conversation, or he doesn't want to have this conversation, or he's going to save this conversation for his father or his mother. He pop. He granddad. Grandparents are the good time. They the good time. The parents, we tap that ass. And we're going to do the informing when we're going to do the informing. So I don't find nothing wrong with his comment. Like, we demonize being honest. Even if the honesty don't match what everybody else is saying. We're not units. You're not going to agree with everything I say. And you're not going to agree with anybody else say. That's why we all here. We all have difference of opinion based on our outlook, based on what we grew up around. I just said I grew up around and multiple same-sex couples, and everybody knew it, and they celebrated. So they celebrate their own relationship, and people still showed them love. It wasn't even like, oh, they same-sex couple. It wasn't even a thing. It was cool, and everybody mind their business. Simple and plain. So we got to stop being so overly sensitive about, oh, you feel a type of way because you're seeing a same-sex couple in a damn Disney movie? Disney is crazy. So you mean to tell me that, matter of fact, I don't think that we're ready for that conversation yet. Because Disney own all these platforms. So we're gonna force the conversation for obviously a Disney movie for kids, not for adults, not for young teenagers who's going into high school or whatever the case may be. We're gonna force this conversation as toddlers for them now. No, no, you're not gonna tell me what I'm gonna do for my child, and vice versa. I can't come in your crib and tell you what you're gonna do for your child. If you have a child and you a same sex couple, then y'all do what y'all want to do. But you can't get mad for a traditional family having traditional thoughts. Because again, like how I just highlighted, I know several same-sex couples growing up, and they are friends of the family. If they see me today, they'll be like, yo, what's up, Ash? And it'll be love. It wouldn't be tension. It wouldn't be weird, because in my neighborhood, it wasn't even like that. And my neighborhood was as cultured as it get. But we all knew what it was, but it wasn't forced down. Everybody could make their own decision at the right time. So shame on y'all for trying to, oh yeah, he's wrong for not wanting to explain. Like, get the hell out of here, yo. Yeah, he a better man than me regarding that. I'll tell you that right now, because I give zeros. I give zeros, and mainly I give those zeros mainly because of what I was exposed to growing up. Shout out to Rowan Jack, only when it involves, oh, okay, yeah, we got that. Ryan Anderson, some of my best friends to have in this world are gay people, just saying. So at the end of the day, when most people who are engaging in the community of LGBTQ, y'all don't know where people is speaking from when they speak. And it's not always hate speech. It's a damn opinion. It's a damn view based on their upbringing. And their upbringing wasn't wrong because it wasn't your upbringing. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. A 12-year-old young lady, Anoya Shabana, she receives $11.5 million in funding for her cardboard air filter invention that kills 99% of all airborne viruses. That is fire. That is fire. I love when the culture shines in these different aspects, because the world only sees it shining in entertainment spaces, right? But when we have these inventions, and we've been a part of the invention game from day one, heavy contributors and all this shit, and to see a young 12-year-old young lady is magic, and I love it. So whoever her parents are, whoever this young lady is, shout out to you. Keep shining. Keep pouring that love into your young queen, into being better, and to continue to moving forward, and to continue to push the envelope in her inventions. So shout out to her, man. Again, her name is Anoya Shabaya. I'm sorry, damn, I'm tearing up the name. Anoya Shabana. Anoya Shabana. I think I got that very close. So shout out to her, 12-year-old girl that invented a filtered air invention out of cardboard, and got $11.5 million funding to do more research and to build. That's fire. That is fire. Love it. I love that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. NFL wide receiver Tyreek Hill has ended a 17-month marriage. It ends in divorce, obviously, with Keita Varaco. She's set to collect 20 to 50 million a month. Whoa, 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 I'm sorry, Kita Vaquero. Sorry, Kita Vaquero. Kita Vaquero is set to collect 20 to 50,000 a month. 20 to 50,000 a month. 500K lump sum plus the Miami mansion. Wow. Wow. So let me read that again. Tyreek Hill, who was married for 17 months to Kita Vaquero, and she's set to collect, she already collecting 500K lump sum and plus the Miami mansion, and she's going to receive another 20 to 50,000 a month. Let's say this is just a cool 20,000 a month. She just retired herself. She just retired herself. And a couple people in her family. For 17 months in the chat. Like let's be for real. For 17 months of marriage, do you believe, if you're the person that has the money, do you believe that this person should receive, again, it's 20 to 50,000 a month. Let's just say 20,000. Do you believe you should give 20,000 a month to somebody that you already gave a mansion to plus 500,000 K in a lump sum right up front? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat, please. That's a lot of money. She just retired herself. And this goes to what I've been saying in previous episodes. In this country, there's marriage and there's the business of marriage. When you find real love, in my opinion, as a man, that benefits a man. When you find real love, you could build off having somebody, and your relationship is the foundation between you, them, and God. But the business of marriage, I can't get jiggy with it. I can't get jiggy with it because there's too much at stake. And this is not for all women, but some women is in the business of marriage, not really in the relationship of marriage. Let's keep this all the way funky, because we hear this too many times, too far, that these things are happening when the guy get the bag, they get up out of there. They there long enough to get the bag and get up out of there. So again, I don't really relegate this to all women. I like to keep this individual based, right? But there's some women out there that you could really build with and have a marriage and have the business of marriage on top of that. That is a fact. And I know couples who have done that. But you could still have marriage without having the business of marriage, meaning you could have policies to make sure that each person is always careful, looked out for within your policies without being married. It's just called policies. You can also do a name change without actually getting married, because you're there for the love. And if you're there for the love, all things and all bets are not off. So again, if you're a man and you find a woman that you can love and have the mindset that you can build with, then go for it, yo. Go for it. But every woman not on that type of time. And if you notice, the women who have successful relationships, they don't go back to share them secrets with other women like that. You got to figure that out. Because guess what? All men is not the same. Whatever worked in their relationship won't work in your relationship, because your dude is completely different. You are completely different. So when I hear stuff like this, and again, this happens all the time. We in a materialistic society. And when they meet somebody, they not there because they love them. They put on a good show. They put on a good show, and this is not always on the woman as well. There are some cases where a woman can actually love a guy, they get married, and he turns into an idiot, right? But we're talking about the norm. We're not talking about the special exceptions. We're talking about the norm. And great women are not normal. Great women you can build with. There's some in the chat. But there's also some women you can't build with. And that's based and built on your history. If you ask any guy or all the guys that you dated seriously, not guys you hooked up with, guys that you dated seriously, what would they say about you? That's something to be said. So again, for him to lose those resources, and some people say, well, that's not a lot of money for real because he makes upwards to $100 and something million. That is a lot of money. That is. Especially you giving it to somebody that didn't earn it with you. And again, most people, if you had that money and had to give 20,000, again, 20 to 50,000 is what is the actual number. I'm going on the base 20. If you had to give somebody 20,000 a month after giving them a mansion and 500,000 up front, you're not going to be okay with that no matter how much money you make. You're not going to be okay with that. So dudes have to make better decisions, yo, because it's like we glutton for punishment. You know the girl is not right for you. You need to find the one that's right for you, bro. You need to find the one that's right for you. You got to find better ways to qualify. I'm just saying. You at least hold on to your money. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. College football NFL picks is back, baby. So we got them college football picks. My pick six college football picks. NFL picks I'm going to have for next week because that's when the season starts. So I got college football, my pick six for tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday games. So make sure y'all tap in. Y'all know how I do with my picks. You know what I'm saying? I'm nice with this. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all tap in and win yourself some money. You're welcome. All right, so my college picks, my pick six for this week episode, or this episode, Western Illinois versus number 12 Illinois. I'm going with number 12 Illinois. Illinois is going to have a great season this year. I would say that they will win about 9 games this year. I will say that. They're going to compete for the Big Ten title. Will they win the Big Ten title? No. But they will compete. And I have them winning 9 games this year. So, Illinois, again, Western Illinois, I got Illinois winning that game. Number 2, number 1, Texas versus Ohio. Believe it or not, I know most people know, and I'm a Michigan fan, that I will go with number 1 team in the country, which is Texas. Texas has an outstanding team. But they're going to lose to Ohio. They're going to lose to Ohio. That's a fact. They may not get smoked because Texas has a really great team. But they're going to lose. They're going to lose. I know people is like, yeah, you know, they got young Peyton over there. He going to tear it up. Ohio has a really good team. A really good team. And the Big Ten is the best conference in the world. The SEC is not the same, bro. They going back to what they used to be before Nick Saban joined the SEC. Nobody's afraid of the SEC no more. Nobody. And the amount of talent that Ohio has, they have no reason to be afraid at all. They have arguably the best 2 players in the country. Best 2. Their safety and their receiver. And they can ball out. Their safety actually used to be the starting safety on Alabama. So they're not going to be fair in Texas. So I got Ohio winning this game. But I don't have Ohio winning the conference. Who do you think? I think they're gonna lose to. You know what I'm saying? But I do have Texas winning the SEC. They just gonna lose to Ohio State. Um, number 3, number 8, Bama versus Florida State. That's gonna be an outstanding game. But I do have Bama. I think their new coach coming from Washington is a great coach. He has a history of winning. He has a history of having great programs. And him having the access of Bama is going to be it's going to be a thing for that team. They're going to be great in that division, in that conference. And Florida State is also, in my opinion, is still kind of developmental, but they did improve. It's going to be an outstanding game, but I think Bama wins this game. My number 4th game, Old Dominion versus Indiana. I got Indiana winning this game. I think this game is going to get ugly. I think Indiana this year is going to win about 9 to 10 games. Again, Big Ten. It's a great conference. I'm telling you, it's the Big Ten is the best conference in college football. So I got them winning 9 to 10 games again this year. Number 9, LSU playing number 4, Clemson. I got Clemson. I think LSU is going to be a great team. They got Nussmeyer, and great receivers. They got a great team overall. But Clemson has a great team as well. And I believe in quarterback play. And as good as Nussmeyer is, I think Cade Klubnik is going to be more in his bag, because he could run and he could throw. So I think he's going to have more opportunities to help Clemson to win. So I have Clemson beating LSU. And in my final number 6 game, number 6 Notre Dame versus number 10 Miami. That's going to be a really good game. Miami has a lot of high hopes this year, but they're going down. Notre Dame team is really good. They're really, really good. They have a new quarterback, but they're really, really good. They're super duper physical. Miami is a physical team as well. But Notre Dame was just in the national championship. And they bring in a lot of those guys back. And they have something to prove. Even though Miami is going to be great, they do have Carson Beck from Georgia. But I can't put all my eggs in Carson Beck. Because mind you, if Carson Beck would have had the season that he had last year, he would have been the number 1 quarterback taken on the board. They wasn't expecting Shador and the kid that ended up on Miami, Ward, to have the seasons that they had for real. They was expecting Carson Beck to have that season from Georgia, and he didn't. And now he's at Miami. So I think Miami might be a beneficial spot to him based on their offense, but they losing to Notre Dame. And it's a rivalry game. So I got Notre Dame beating Miami. Again, I got Clemson beating LSU. I got Indiana beating Ole Miss. I got Bama beating Florida State. I got Ohio beating Texas. And I have Illinois beating Western Illinois. And that's my pick 6 for college football. So make sure y'all go tap in and win you some money. You're welcome. I think Arch Manning will play out of his mind on Saturday and beat Ohio State. Quarterback for Notre Dame is from Duke. He's nice. Yes, the kick a ball. But see, all he has to do is manage the game. And he's not necessarily a game manager. Notre Dame is scary good. They're scary good. Miami that's going to be a good game, but I just have Notre Dame, man. I think Notre Dame, they're scary good. They're scary good. So I got Notre Dame for that one. But you said you got Texas, so you think he's going to play out of his mind. I don't doubt that he will have somewhat of a good game. I don't think he plays out of his mind, though. I don't think he plays out of his mind. I think he has a productive game, but not out of his mind. Because Caleb Downs is too good, man. He's too good. He's too damn good. And Texas, they have to address Jeremiah Smith. And anytime you have a receiver that dominant, you have to, and in college, that's not the NFL, you have to assign 2 people on him. If you don't, it's a matchup nightmare. So, it's going to be an outstanding game. Physicality will matter in the trenches, I believe, the most. So it's going to be an outstanding game. We got GMF in the book. Appreciate you tapping in. What's good, brother? Hope all is well. Appreciate that, man. What you think about Canelo and Bud fight? I think I said it, man. I think prior I said I'm going with Bud mainly because of mentality. Canelo is a dog, man. Canelo is a dog, man. But Bud, he don't have, like, he doesn't have, he don't flinch, bro. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't flinch. And because Canelo has lost in the ring, soundly, might I add, before, I think there's a place that he could go to and doubt himself in the fight. I don't think Bud ever doubts himself. So I got Bud just based on mentality. Just on mentality. Because talent for talent, it's about even. But Bud, man, his mentality, man, he just doesn't lose us, bro. So I'm going with Bud. I'm definitely going with Bud. All right, y'all, moving on to my next segment, my Keep the Lie Live segment. It's such a 50-50 fight, but, man, that experience from Canelo. Okay, ain't mad at that. Like I said, you're not going to get an argument out of me for any of these fighters, whether you for Bud or not, because talent-wise, this is damn near even. And these type of fights is all about mentality for me. For me, I think it sets it apart. So, yeah. All right, y'all. Again, moving on to my next segment, my Keep the Lie Live segment. So my Keep the Lie Live for this episode is name versus bloodline. Again, name versus bloodline. I think we got it wrong in our society because we value the name over the bloodline. And it's very hard to track our lineage when we do it that way, because too often in our lineage, we adopt people to our family. And there comes real name changes when we adopt people to our family. But that's not helpful when it comes to finding the bloodline. And because people get adopted to families, it muddies, I don't want to say muddies up the bloodline, but it's harder to figure out who's who and where, like, your biological is from, right? It matters that you're around family, people that you call family. That matters in everyday life. But when it comes to finding who your bloodline is, who your dad is, who your mom, your grandparents are, and your bloodline down the line, who your cousins are, it has become like a far-gone conclusion that we just don't know because of how the history in this country benefited on mixing the records up and making exceptions to change records without having that existing record of their real existence. And what that means is, at the end of the day, it makes it harder to find the bloodline. How many times have you seen siblings no longer get along? They no longer tapped in. The sad part is that both siblings have children. And because the siblings don't get along, and because the siblings live far in distance, their families never intertwine. So you have cousins over here and cousins over there, and they never met each other. So now you have a gap in the bloodline. And then when you're walking around in the street one day, you walk past somebody like, damn, this dude look like my damn pops. Or he look like my mother. When that could be, your cousin, because of the bloodline, because how hard the genetics is. So because of that, it makes it harder to, again, find the bloodline. We have come to a point in time in our history where we depend on a company that we necessarily can't hold accountable, which is, myancestor.com. So we're supposed to get some blood samples and send it to them, and they could trace it to this, that, and the third based on their medical research. But all in all, do you really trust it for real? Because I heard of them getting it wrong, and I'm pretty sure they may have had some exceptions where they reunited some families. But too far in between. How many people is really doing that? Our culture is raised on being by yourself, being for self. So when it's time to look for your bloodline, you can't really find it for real. And when you do, it's like, damn, you don't even want to be a part of it. So when you're dead and gone, now that bloodline gets all murky. Like, I remember when I was growing up as a kid, we always had family reunions, always. Since some of my aunts, well, big aunts, I should say, my great aunts, I should say, have passed on, the family no longer meets the way it used to meet. It doesn't have that same bottomless love that we, show to each other. Like, it's crazy. Like, families and relatives are very cliquey. Like, you like who you like in your family. And there's some people you like, yo, I don't bangs with them. I don't got no issue with them for real, but I'm cool with them. I bangs with these people over here. And it still muddies up the bloodline because you don't know who is who. Like, when my father passed away, I got introduced to one of my first cousins for the first time in my life. And he was already 40 at the time. So I'm like, damn, I'm meeting my first cousin, my aunt's oldest son, for the first time, and he's 40. Like, that makes no sense. So at the end of the day, it really muddies up the bloodline. So, and it hurts the family structure. It hurts the family structure in just a whole nother level that we really can't recover from. It's like, where do we go from next? So we at this point in time in our history where the bloodline is so muddy, we don't know who is who. And we was told one thing, this person is your real dad, and that person, like, we've got it wrong. So we have to move on bloodline as far as who is really in our bloodline instead of trying to find them by name. So that's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. We haven't got it right, and we just have to find a better way of tracking our true bloodline. And you'll be surprised because when I read about some people, I'm like, yo, this person kind of look like me, and I'll be wondering if we share the same bloodline. Like Bumpy Johnson, Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson. His family is from the same areas my family is from. I can see similarities in facial structures that he could possibly be a distant cousin or cousin, right? And at this point in the game, I need to do more research because, again, my real last name, for those who don't know, it's not Ashley. It's not Lovechild. My real name is Ashley, but my real last name is not Lovechild, right? That's my artist last name, right? So I believe there's a lineage with Bumpy Johnson. Yes. Is it true? I don't know. I got to continue to do the research. So, and it's just not him. It's other people that I see, like, their facial structures be like, damn, you kind of look like my brother, bro. You know what I'm saying? My pops was a wild guy. You know what I'm saying? Anything is liable to happen. You know what I mean? With this guy. But y'all get the point that I'm making. So that's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. We are all related at some point. I believe that. I believe, because it's too many people I've seen in real life and be like, yo, They got the same mug as me, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I really do believe that. I really do believe that. And then if we do the research on where our grandparents and great grandparents is from, we'll be surprised what the origin really looks like. We'll be surprised. And luckily for me, I do have my family chart. I do know who my grandparents is, obviously. I do know who my great grandparents and my great grandparents on both sides. Luckily. So it's very easy for me to do my research and just go down the rabbit hole. And I've been on that journey. But the family lineage has really long tentacles. So it's a big family. So I'm just continuing to do my research. I might be your cousin from the Bronx. Bro, you saying it as a joke. My father, when he moved from Washington, D.C., he lived in the Bronx for about like 2 years, bro, before he moved to Queens. Then he ended up in Brooklyn. And I told you, he was a wild boy before he met my mother. You know what I'm saying? Wild boy out here in these streets. So you just never know. I'm so serious when I say this. You just never know. My father lived in the Bronx for a couple years. And he said the only reason why he moved out of the Bronx, he said, because y'all had rats as big as cats. You know what I'm saying? But he ended up in Brooklyn, so that don't make it no never mind. So instead of getting cats, you getting squirrel rats in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Real strong rats. You know, master splinter rats. You know what I'm saying? So, what part of the Bronx? I have to look at his old tax information. Yeah, I have his old tax information from like 1974, and I have to look up that address. Yeah, 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 man. So you just never know, bro. And I'm so serious about this. You just never know. Like, and then I have family who is traditional, foundational, and I've seen other podcasts mention this, that they think all of us come from Africa, which we don't. We have people that was already here who was foundational, cultured people, wrapped in Indian, because it was Indian words or Indian name cultures and tribes already on the U.S. soil. Civilizations as old as the continent of Africa. And when people say Africa, Africa wasn't even always called Africa. So people regurgitate the same damn information instead of doing their own research, which is crazy. So, and that's why I say, like, I got true Indian in my family. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, like on my father's mother's side of the family, it's very, like, it's screaming like, oh, yo, yeah, I can see it. You know what I'm saying? I can see the warrior. You know what I'm saying? The warrior side. You know what I'm saying? My pop side, those are the smooth cats. You know what I'm saying? They out here for the smoothness. You know what I'm saying? The smooth, pause. My mother's side, on her father's side, those are the athletes. You know what I'm saying? Get it shaky over there. So, and then like my mother's side of the family, those are like really like nice looking people. Like I have a grandmother that all my first cousins, second cousins, you could trace something in our feature from her. Because when I bring, my hand around and she sees my family, they be like, yo, you could tell y'all family. Y'all have strong like resemblance regardless of complexion, because in our culture, we think that we get light skin from white. If you take a brown skinned woman and a brown skinned man, you're not going to have brown skinned babies. You're going to have a brown skinned baby, a dark brown skin, a dark skin, a light skin. It's a rainbow cornucopia of cultured people. You see what I'm saying? That's just how the melon works. So, you know what I'm saying? So we got to do better on the education of that. You know what I mean? Because we keep regurgitating the same information. We hear somebody speak passionate about it, and they sound like they right, and then we go and take it to somebody else, knowing that we damn wrong. So, but yeah, so that's why it's so important to know your bloodline. It's so important, and then you realize like that when you look up your bloodline, you be like, yo, it's all, I got a whole bunch of cousins over here that I don't even know, and if I rolled up on them, we would probably look at each other like, yo, you got my face, like, who are you? Like, you know what I'm saying? So genetics is such a beautiful and amazing thing. It's just scary when the bloodline separates and loses itself, because in order to move forward, you have to know where you come from. And you're going to see a lot of people that's going to have an awakening that want to know where they come from. Because it's but so far you can move if you don't know where the hell you come from. So that's why I even started on my journey after my parents passed away. It's like, damn. And they passed away back to back. So I was really on like a path of like, yo, where do I really come from? And mind you, I still got a few of my aunts still around and everything like that. But you know what I'm saying? It's just situations be weird. You know what I'm saying? I don't got time for no weird situations. It's either you come with love and great energy. If you're weird, I cut you off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so, but even with that, that's still not beneficial based on what I'm saying, right? We gotta find the bloodline, right? So, yeah, man. I want to thank y'all for tuning in, tapping in. As always, contributing to the show, showing that love, showing that energy, engaging in the chat. As always, that means the world to me, because it's a great conversation, sharing these views and thoughts and energy and information. So I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. I want to thank the sponsors of the show, Button Snaps and OUV Records. If you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, you can hit me on Instagram. You can hit me on Instagram just to say, what up? So come through on Instagram at Ashley Lovechild to show some love, or to hit me up to become one of the sponsors of the show. Also, I want to, again, let y'all know we're on the road to 20,000 subs. Again, we're a little over 11,000 subs, so continue to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that all notification bell. You just never know when I'm going to pop up, because I do pop up throughout the week. We have over 450 rewatchable videos of this podcast on this channel. So make sure y'all tap into the videos, y'all. I got a lot of videos up, and they fun things to talk about with your friends, family, your loved ones, your girlfriends, and all that stuff. It's just great for conversational starters. So again, thank y'all. Also, I want to thank y'all for supporting my new EP, Winners Loyalty, on all music platforms. If you haven't yet, make sure you tap in and type in Ashley Lovechild on any music platform, and Winners Loyalty will pop up. It's a fire 6-single EP, especially for my hip hop lovers. And again, I appreciate the support. Shout out to Patrick, Ashfire movie to look into, Bodyguards and Assassins. I seen Assassins. And which Bodyguard movie you talking about? Not the one with Whitney Houston? I love that movie, by the way, too. It's kind of Kung Fu. I seen if it's the Kung Fu movie, I seen that. That's fire. Assassins is fire. Assassins is fire. I haven't seen it like in 5 years, though. Assassins is fire. But which Bodyguard you talking about? Is it the one with Whitney Houston? That was a fire movie, too. That was amazing acting in that movie. And Costner, Bill Cobb, Whitney Houston. That's a fire movie. It's called Bodyguards and Assassins. Oh, okay. Oh, so it's all one. I bet. I'm going to tap into that. Bodyguards and Assassins. I'm going to tap into that. I love Kung Fu movies. I grew up on Kung Fu movies. Like real talk, I'm going to just keep this a buck with y'all. If you 35 and older, it ain't no way you don't love Kung Fu flicks. It ain't no way. Like, Kung Fu flicks was like a real thing growing up, for real. Like, And I'm talking about like, and then you have people that was purists with the kung fu. I hate the purists with the kung fu flicks. Like yo, you seen Last Dragon? Like, yeah, that's Americanized, bro. You seen American Ninja? Nah, that's Americanized, bro. You got to see Kung Pao, Drunken Master. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, that's the joint, right? That's the authentic joint right there. Them purist kung fu joints. You know what I'm saying? So, but we grew up on that stuff though. So yeah, I definitely would tap into that. Uh, Donnie Yen is in it. Okay, okay, okay. I gotta tap into one of my old favorites though. I think it's called it's either called Drunken Master or Showdown something, where the main, the main guy, he rolled into like a western town with the sword and he bodied the whole town. Like, I forget the name of that, but that was like such a classic one too. I forget the name of that, but I'm gonna tap into that again. It's called Bodyguards and Assassins. All right, I'm gonna tap into that. That's fire. That's fire. I haven't seen a kung fu movie, a classic kung fu movie in a minute. So I'm gonna like, people don't realize kung fu movies was like probably more prevalent than like Marvel movies. They didn't have the Marvel budget, of course, but as far as like watchability and rewatchability, kung fu movies. That's a fact. Also, y'all, again, I got some new announcements coming up, so be on the lookout for that as well. Episode 200 is coming up, so again, send me some ideas. I would love to include some of y'all ideas into episode 200, so send me some ideas for episode 200 as well. Again, like I said, I got a whole bunch of rewatchable videos, and don't forget to tap into the membership portion of the page. Different memberships do get granted different access, so don't forget to tap into the membership portion of the page. Next episode will be episode 190 this Sunday, and y'all already know we starting at 10:30. We're on every Thursday, every Sunday at 10:30, and it's always the same, y'all. It's love, and I see y'all next time this Sunday at 10:30. I'm out.